my name is Irma. I'm known as my note cards here. Today I wanted to show you some of the cards that I've made. This is my number one love. I am a paper crafter, and I make and sell my note cards. And I use a variety of different techniques, and they're not your typical techniques. Basically, what I do, unlike other card makers who do a lot of rubber stamping, I like to think out of the box, and I like to create my cards with more than just the typical rubber stamping. Now, maybe you've seen my other videos. Here is an example of my taking material, adhering it to my card, adding a couple of embellishments, and with a marker making and creating stitch lines, which gives the illusion that the material has been sewn onto the card. This is one of the cards that I love to make, which is a type of card where I'm using patterns as my background. This is a card that is made with stencils. It's pretty much abstract. Now you will notice that some of my cards do have sentiments and others don't. I sell my cards often without the sentiments. Very often people choose to write whatever sentiment they want. So that's that. And I love making abstract cards. I've created many of them. This one here, and I hope you can see it. Let me just make sure that I'm aligned. Oops. With, yeah, okay, good. So here, this card is what I would say is almost like a paste paper creation. Okay, again, it's also abstract, and I have several cards like this in my stash. This one, believe it or not, is not. This is a print. These leaves were actual leaves that I had gotten several years ago. I painted them different colors. I took a big sheet of paper. I printed and stamped all of them on my huge piece of paper. Once they were dried, I took that paper, I put it and ran it through my printer, and I shrank the image so that this is not actually painted. It's a print. It's a copy. And these are my autumn leaves. And these can be used any way. And of course, I always include the envelopes. Now, some of the envelopes I include are envelopes that I've purchased, or believe it or not, I've created and can create my own envelopes. Here with this, I've taken a blank piece of paper. I sponged stamped the background, and using a punch, I punched out my butterflies and glued them. So you see, I like to think out of the box again. Many of the patterns that I use are my own creation, and I try to make my cards as appealing as possible. This is a thank you card. I've added a little bit of ribbon, which I do have to trim, but I've added some ribbon. And the background of this, believe it or not, is finger painting. Once the finger painting was dry, I took a foam stamp and I stamped my leaf images. I love to make my own foam stamps as well. This one, and I don't know if you're able to see the glare or not, this one is my faux stained glass. Okay, it's kind of hard to explain how I did this. But it's sheets of that very tough plastic wrapping that you get around a lot of products. Okay, I take them, I cut them to size, I paint using either acrylic paint or markers, and you know, I make my stained glass that way. And each of these squares is actually a cutout and glued to my cardstock. I love to use tissue paper, and I love to use my tissue paper in my die cut. And this is tissue papered leaves adhered with some Mod Podge. I've got my metallics again. This is aluminum foil. I've taken a pen that has no longer any ink, and I've drawn a design. I've cut out my hearts. I glued them on my cardstock, and there you go. I love Zentangling, and these are two Zentangles. Okay. Take a large sheet, start Zentangling and coloring it in. Oh, here's another stained glass, so-called stained glass. All right. One sheet of paper, stamp the background, then give the optical illusion that there are different little tiles glued together, but they're not. Okay, I took a silver Sharpie, and I, with a ruler, created these lines. Okay, I hope that you're able to see a little bit of the glare there. What do you do with all that? What do you do with all that scrap paper? Well, basically, in a nutshell, make little collages. And I have dozens of these types of cards. I usually and very often allow the paper itself, whether it's cardstock or scrapbooking paper, I work with the pattern to make the card. Notice that I'm not using a lot of rubber stamps. This is my napkin card. This is a paper towel. Well, no, it's not a napkin. It's a paper towel. And this paper towel, I added color by spray painting it and then cutting it to size, gluing it on my cardstock, adding a few embellishments. Paper lace, again, using a lot of those border punches. Martha Stewart border punchers, Fiskars. Again, I have a few designs. A little crooked, but that's okay. You know, I've added a few of my designs there. Let's see. This one, in a nutshell, is spray the background, take my white ink pad. This one I did with a little bit of the help of a rubber stamp and stamped my little flowers. I have whimsical as well. Ribbon, stickers, buttons. This is my wedding card. Very simple. I hope you can see it. Last but not least, I have my cloisonnés. This is cloisonnés. It's a faux cloisonnés, and hopefully in the future I will make a video explaining how I did this. So in a nutshell, these are a lot of the cards that I make. I do sell them. If you're interested, let me know. Leave a message, or you can email me at mynotcards@yahoo.com. I'll leave all my information at the bottom. I hope I've given you some ideas. Thank